Happy Motoring comes alongside as just to head back. Down on the rail and holding third is Tijuana Taxi. Here comes Sun Sam, wheeling 3 wide and going right up to join him. Sun Sam on the far outside.
Hello, it's Bob Pandolfo on Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. Welcome to Power Brush, one of my shows on my YouTube channel. It's you can subscribe to it. It's free, and this way I can keep making these videos. I'll talk a little bit about the 3-year-olds, and we just had the North American Pace at Mohawk last weekend. Woodbine sponsors the races, but it's a Mohawk racetrack. And let's just take a look at the race. Here's the chart. As you can see, it's my show. This is that 3-year-old who's out of that great mare, put on a show, who's very fast, great mare, and he has that same kind of speed. He's developing nicely. So he's not eligible for the Meadowlands Pace, so they want to race in the Meadowlands Pace on July 15th. They'll have to supplement, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully they will supplement, because that'll make it an exciting race. So what happened was, the race started out, the 9-horse, Save America, gun to the lead with Yannick Gingras. And then and Scotty Z had gone out for the early lead. He gave it up to the 9, and then he quickly retook. And this was really where the race was won, was right here, right after he took the lead. Now, if you look at the fractions, they went 25-4, then they went 54, so the second quarter was 28-1. That's really pretty slow, considering, this is a very, $1 million race. But so Scott Cieron, who's very good in these stakes races, he has really good hands. He has very soft hands. If you watch him drive a horse, like a lot of times when a horse is on the lead in a fast race, you'll see the driver like really wrestling with the horse, and there's a lot of shaking with his arms and everything. Cieron can really take a hold of these horses, and he just gets them to relax very quickly. I've always noticed that about him, even going back, when he first came to the Meadowlands. I didn't watch him drive a lot when he was in Canada, but from early on, when he first came down here and started driving here in the States, I could see that he had those really soft hands. And here, he just got this horse to relax so quickly. And that was it. He stole the second quarter, and basically from that point on, the best horse in the race, in my opinion, Confederate, was really in a very difficult situation from a mathematical standpoint. He just had too much, he just didn't have enough time to catch up. But credit goes to It's My Show and trainer Linda Toscano and driver Scott Cieron. Hey, they won the race, and It's My Show, has been developing really nicely. But I just want to take a look at Confederate. This horse, he started his career, and it has the past performances. He started his career, he lost his first race, he won 5 in a row, including a $400,000 race at Lexington. They were racing him, they raced off the pace here, but they were left with him in these couple of other starts. But then he gets into the Breeders' Crown and final, and they didn't lead with him. And he only had post 3. Maybe they thought, maybe Tim Tetrick, the driver, thought that he wouldn't be that far back. But it depends, of course, what develops in front of you. And in this particular case, he was way too far back. This was a powerful race. You have to remember too, this is a 2-year-old. It was only his 7th lifetime start, and he just came on. I'll put the link to the video of the Breeders' Crown for 2-year-olds. Powerful finish, and he was the best horse in the race, but he finished second. Then he comes back this year. He preps against older horses. He comes home very fast, 25-4, and then he goes wire to wire in the elimination, and then he comes into this race. And by the way, I'm just going to pinpoint something. They don't use Trackus anymore. Trackus was a company that, sort of like a GPS company. Now they're using TPD to call the charts, Total Performance Data Powered by GMAX. So the charts are generated at Mohawk by GPS, as you can see right here. But now we're going to take a look at the regular chart. Not all the tracks use GPS, but a lot of them do now. So if you look at this race, Confederate, again, he gets stuck too far back. He's 8 lengths back. Paced his last half in 52-1. Right? I mean, this is really another powerful finish. 52-1, and he had to go 3 wide. Of course, he's 2 wide. He had to go 3 wide past the 3/4. Coming on like gangbusters. I mean, this is a powerful last half. And you got to remember, when you see a horse go, sometimes a horse will go, say, at 53, opening half. And what does the announcer usually say? Wow, they went to the half in 53, holy cow. And, well, keep in mind, it's a lot easier to go fast the first half than it is the last half. I mean, it's a big difference. I ran high school track, winter track, couple of years, and I can tell you the easiest time to run fast is the beginning of the race. When coming home is tough. That's when you get tired. So I mean, for this horse to come a 52-1 last half, just think about it. During the races, the horses that get the announcer excited and get the crowd excited, the ones going to the lead because they put up those fast fractions, and you say, oh wow. And so, but the final fractions nobody talks about until after the race is over. But I mean, 52-1 for a horse like this who's only raced like 10 times now. This is a really, really fast horse, Confederate. And normally I don't pick who I think is going to win a race weeks at a time, but I really think Confederate's going to win the Meadowlands pace. I mean, first of all, I don't think they're going to be racing off the pace anymore. I mean, I think you got to leave with this horse, unless you think you can go first over. But I mean, you got to get this horse out to lead. You can't race in these big races off the pace. I guess Tetrick took him off the pace in this race and in the Breeders' Crown because of the long stretch at Mohawk. The stretch is longer at Mohawk than it is at the Meadowlands. At the Meadowlands, in July 15th, you got to figure it's going to be warm, and you just can't get stuck off the pace like this because you get into a situation where you just don't have enough time to catch up. I mean, this is a powerful horse who's now lost the 2 biggest races of his career, even though he raced powerfully. So Tetrick's a great driver, though, but I think in this particular race, especially, I think he should have left. That's my opinion, and I think he'll be leaving in the Meadowlands pace. So we'll see what happens as far as whether It's My Show's going to go in the race. But either way, I like Confederate. Now maybe after I see the eliminations, I'll change my mind. We'll see. He's trained by Brett Pelling, one of the all-time great trainers, who for some reason is not in the Hall of Fame. I have no idea why. But I just wanted to point out, though, and I'll put both links to these replays, that how difficult it can be in modern day harness racing, that to win from off the pace, even when you have a horse with this kind of power and a long stretch, you still can't get there. And the whole key of the race was that second quarter that Scotty Z stole. It was a 28-1 second quarter. His horse went 28. After gunning his horse to the lead and then retaking, he was able to grab on without choking his horse down, nice and smooth with those soft hands, and just beautiful. And beginning of my video here, you'll see the 1979 Meadowlands pace won by Sun Sam, one of the most exciting Meadowlands paces. The reason why I put that on there is I'm calling these harness racing videos power pace, and I mean power brush, and there's one of the most exciting power brushes in the history of the sport, especially in a major stakes race, was Sun Sam's 3-wide power brush at 3/4. Great drive by George Solti. I mean, he had waited long enough. I mean, he just thought the time was right. And it's unfortunate, but that kind of move that you used to see in harness racing, years ago, that big power brush at the 3/4, you very rarely see that anymore because the horses just can't make up ground that rapidly because the fractions, the horses are moving so fast on the lead that you just can't swoop them like that, But it was exciting, I tell you. That was one of the most exciting of all time with Sun Sam. So that's why I put that there, since I call this power brush. But anyway, I'm looking forward to the Meadowlands pace. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be great to see if Confederate can finally win a big one. I mean, this is a horse that I think is the best 3-year-old. It might be the best horse in the sport right now. But, you got to win the big ones. So we'll see if he can win the Meadowlands pace. Remember to subscribe to my channel. This is Bob Pandolfo, and good luck.